state television company Western Armenia represents the most important events of these days. Today's broadcast: a threat of avalanches in the mountainous regions of Western Armenia. Azerbaijani forces fired shots in immediate vicinity of villages in Syunik province. Ombudsman: the volume of humanitarian aid increased by more than 94% received from France and by 2 times received from the Czech Republic. Paris forming an alliance against Turkey. Iran to stay in Syria. Fishermen make a living in the icy waters of Chorokh River. Today is Ruben Sevak's birthday. The statement made by meteorologists states that the weather will be cloudy and partially cloudy in most parts of Western Armenia. Frost and fog are expected in the morning and at night. The air temperature will exceed the average seasonal temperature. Citizens should be careful on steep slopes covered with a high layer of snow, as the air temperature may be from 4 to 8 degrees above the norm, which can be a danger of snowmelt or avalanches. Heavy ice flood is expected in some places. Human rights defender of Armenia Arman Tatoyan has released a video on social media and wrote, "This video was recorded 2 days ago, at different times of the day, in the middle of Agatangeghos villages of Kapan community. The footage was captured by our perimeter guards at the lines of contact. To put the matter in context, and to be clear, the point of origin of this shooting is directly about 1 kilometer from the village of Agarak," Tatoyan said, adding that he periodically receives alerts about the anger and the concerns of residents of Kapan villages over the discharging of firearms by the Azerbaijani military on a regular basis. All of this once again confirmed that in the immediate vicinity of Syunik communities and on the roads connecting those communities, there should not be any Azerbaijani military forces. The presence of these forces seriously endangers the rights of Armenian civilians, disturbs their peace and peaceful life, the Ombudsman stated. The humanitarian aid sent to Armenia decreased significantly compared to 2019, but some countries, particularly France, the Czech Republic and China, sent more aid. In particular, the volume of humanitarian aid sent from France increased by 94.6% compared to 2019. The aid from the Czech Republic has almost doubled in 2020. Last year, China sent humanitarian aid worth $3,363,000 to Armenia, which is 30.65% more than in 2019. In general, the products sent to Armenia as aid were mostly of the chemical and related industries. The volume of humanitarian aid decreased due to the coronavirus in 2020. At the end of the year, however, humanitarian aid was brought to Armenia by numerous flights during the 44-day war unleashed by Azerbaijan against Artsakh. Paris does not hide its envy towards Ankara's active policy in the region, which forces everyone to pay attention to them. But the danger for Turkey is that the policy of France could lead to a review of state borders in the greater Middle East, and the Kurds could become another puzzle in a new diplomatic game. Ankara had high hopes of being invited to the Athens Forum, to which Cyprus, France, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, and the United Arab Emirates were invited. Moreover, Ankara itself had earlier called for an international conference to find a way out of the crisis in the Eastern Mediterranean. At first, everything was fine. On January 25, after a break of almost 5 years, the so-called preliminary contacts between Greece and Turkey resumed. The real content of the talks has not been revealed officially, though the Greek side claims that it is only discussing the demarcation of sea zones. French President Emmanuel Macron has sent a letter to his Turkish counterpart Recep Tayyip Erdogan, urging him to maintain a constructive dialogue. In addition, informal contacts on the Cyprus issue are planned in March at the initiative of the UN, and suddenly it fails. The full article is available on our website. Iran will maintain its presence in Syria as long as the Syrian government and people want it, as reported by RIA Novosti, senior advisor to the Iranian Foreign Minister Ali Asghar Haji, stated, "We are in Syria with the request of the Syrian government. We are providing military advice. We will continue to do so as long as the Syrian people and government want it. Let those who entered Syria illegally and occupied these lands come out," he said. He also welcomed U.S. statements about the possible cessation of security along the Euphrates oil fields, but doesn't trust them. He stressed that the oil in the east of the Euphrates belongs to the Syrian people. It should be reminded that only some units of the Russian armed forces and the Iranian armed forces are legally located in the territory of the Syrian Arab Republic. The Turkish armed forces are in Syria illegally and in clear violation of international law. They have in fact seized the northern regions of Syria, some U.S. units located in Kurdish areas, ensuring the security of oil production. During the winter months, those earning their living by fishing in some parts of Western Armenia are now fishing in the icy waters of the Chorokh River. The surface of one of the most fast-flowing rivers in the world, the Chorokh of Bayburt city, is partially covered with ice. Despite the cold weather, the river is fished by traditional methods. The fishermen break the 40-centimeter thick ice sheet, dig it, and then start fishing. A citizen who works in construction in summer and earns a living by selling fish in the winter reports that he catches about 100 kilograms of fish each week using traditional methods. Today is the birthday of the famous Armenian poet Ruben Sevak. He was born in 1885 in the city of Silivri. He visited the Berberian school of Constantinople from 1901 to 1905. He was engaged in literary activities during his school years. He studied at one of the largest medical centers in Europe, the Faculty of Medicine of the University of Lausanne, from 1905 to 1911. In 1914, he returned to Constantinople with his wife and son Levon. Ruben Sevak felt and noticed the prospect of the tragedy threatening the Western Armenians earlier than many famous contemporaries. Sevak called for carefulness with his works, emphasizing the importance of national unity. In the spring of 1909, when 30,000 Armenians were killed in a bloodbath organized by the Young Turk authorities in the city of Adana, Ruben Sevak told about the danger to the figures drunk by the Young Turk Revolution like Arshak Chobanyan, Andranik Ozanyan, and Paramats. Ruben Sevak, who fell victim to the Turkish massacre in 1915, not only defended his ideas with words and pen, but also proved his unwavering devotion to the people with the price of his life. On April 11, 1915, while serving in the military, was arrested and imprisoned in the central prison of Constantinople, then was exiled to Çanger. On August 12, 1915, he telegraphed to his wife that he was in Ayash prison with Daniel Varujan. On August 13, 1915, he was killed along with 4 of his friends by Turkish Chets and tortured to death with stones and mortars on the way to Ayash exile, between Çanger and Galecik, in a place called Çanger from Tunei. The doctor was the last to be killed, according to the testimony of coach Hasan at the Gonyo War Court. Now we present you Hodalojan by Vararakan Choir of Artsakh. The full version is available on the official website of Western Armenia TV. This was all for today. Goodbye.